You are bound and shackled by your belief system. If you think that something is impossible, then you will never achieve it. The squirrel would never climb up the tree to get the nut if he thought that it was totally out of his abilities. But he's a squirrel, and you are that squirrel on the tree of life, and everyone is constantly deciding how high they can get and what areas should be explored. But there are no limits before the limits that we teach one another. You must become that harness-free, nut-loving tree rodent that loses his fear of heights just for the sake of the nut that's just a little bit higher. But some of you, before you take my advice, please remember some of your home training that your mom taught you, unless your mom didn't teach you nothing. The systems that we have in place keep society together. They keep us creating community, economy, science, education, entertainment. But who's to say that that's it? Who's to say that it's the best? That this is the peak of humanity? First and foremost, as we are humans, we make anything work in any circumstance, in any condition, on any continent in the world. And you are a human. Secondly, we're innovators, always searching for another way to get something done. Right now, I'm a bartender, and I had a lady come into the bar right in the middle of rush hour, and while I'm struggling to make drinks and get all the custies drinking a beverage, she's struggling to figure out what drink she's gonna order. And me getting tired of walking back and forth, I just asked her, what do you normally like to drink? And then I immediately jumped to making a spin-off of this common drink with some flavors that she was a fan of. I used the blueprint of something old to make something new and satisfying for the situation. And she loved it. I don't mean to get into any of my excellent bartending skills right now, but the idea that I'm trying to invoke upon you is that rules are meant to be broken. She ordered a French 75. That drink is just over 100 years old. And she ordered it, and she was gonna drink it, not because she loved it, but because she'd had it before, and it's a standard drink that people order. Every day we are reaffirmed culturally, socially, religiously, and emotionally to believe that we can or cannot do. We pick up the pieces and play someone else's game. And I am here to tell you right now that your ideas are valid. I'm not saying that every time that you have an idea, it's the idea of ideas. But there's people out there making rules. The people who wrote the rules wrote a lot of rules that are never even gonna see the day of light. This is what we do. And there is no better time than the present. So I want you to just join me for a second. Just take a minute, get comfortable, get tranquil, and shake off all that brainwashing. Anything that implies that your dreams are out of reach, or that this life is someone else's. Just shake that off. Because even if any of that were true, we're creatures of adaptation. Who you were yesterday is not who you are supposed to be tomorrow. It's not who you're going to be tomorrow. And this is what reincarnation is actually all about. This is how the Buddha reached nirvana. This is how Yeshua grasped onto Christ consciousness. Day by day, we create identity based on the skills that we learn and the events in our lives that reoccur. But you and you alone have to be willing to let that person that you were yesterday die. Embrace that energy and all of the lessons that you learn, and then turn to that identity and say, that isn't me. I don't do those things, and that person wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. You have to let go of you so that way you can become the person that makes sense for you. The idea that becoming the best at any skill takes around 10 years has been argued about for centuries. But Angela Duckworth said it like this: enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. If you set out to do something and then you keep doing it, you are using the single most important skill that anybody who is successful is using right now. And are you aware of how many 10-year cycles that you still have ahead of you? The only thing that you need to worry about right now is how your goals are going to change the person that you are. They're going to change your life. Because everybody wants to bring $1 million home. But who wants to do all of the things that the millionaire did to become a millionaire? If you go out and you ask the public, the most common answer is probably going to be not me. Sacrificing your free time, your relationships, your satisfaction of the moment, it just doesn't sound like fun. It sounds like a freaking hassle. But you do have that power. I promise you. You could become that silver-tongued double, manipulating tens of thousands of people, or the work hard with several businesses, or the dentist who has all the cash in the world and no time to spend it. But it all starts with shifting your own frequency to match the frequency of the lifestyle that you're imagining in your head. And even before that, it requires you to imagine where you're going, what it looks like to achieve the things that you're trying to achieve. What are the things around you? Who are the people around you? What does your day-to-day life looks like? You have to be willing to accept those things as your reality. You have to be that dream. Others will see you before you see that dream. Others will witness the dream within you before you ever see that dream manifest into this reality. All you have to do is hold on to it, operating within that frequency, becoming that which you seek, and constantly looking for ways to expand that energy and to support that purpose. And maybe at some point you realize, hey, the squirrel in the tree is actually not a squirrel. It's a bird, and it's not supposed to be climbing. It's supposed to be flying around the branches of the tree of life. And so I ask you, what is your animal on the tree of life? What are the characteristics and traits of you in your future? Post it for me down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe if this video helped you. Until next time, Llanteros.